When did you get together with him? Su Wanli didn't even recognize this person. She didn't even have an impression of him. To his question, she only replied coldly, "That's my personal business." After speaking, Su Wanli greeted Professor Zhao politely and left with me, watching the two walk away. Professor Zhao had the look of someone watching good cabbage being eaten by pigs. The boy stood there, utterly devastated, thinking about how not long ago he mocked me. But in the end, he was the real clown. In the office, Zhao Ruoyo sat in the chair with a headache, recalling everything that just happened. Aside from my change, what puzzled her the most was that she could hear my inner voice. She even thought it was due to jet lag and poor rest causing auditory hallucinations. But when she recalled I mentioned big sis and third sis in my thoughts, Zhao Ruoyo had a faint guess. She then directly called Zhao Qingyun. Moments later, the call connected. "Why are you calling me at this hour? You're back in the country?" Zhao Qingyun asked. Zhao Ruoyo gave a soft then asked the question in her mind. "Big sis, have you noticed anything strange with Yichen lately?" There was a few seconds of silence on the other end. Then came the sound of her sending others away. Zhao Ruoyo knew what they were about to talk about couldn't be overheard. Her suspicion became even more certain. "You met the little brother." When? Little brother? Zhao Ruoyo was a bit surprised. That term was only used when I had just returned to the Zhao family. That's how they used to call me. Later, after my true intentions were exposed, and I did many things that disappointed them, they gradually lost their fondness for this found little brother. Now, Zhao Qingyun was calling me that again? Could it be that something happened while I was abroad? Something major. Zhao Ruoyo rubbed her temples. She said, "I just saw him. He scolded Professor Zhao's student, and now that student came complaining to me." On the other end, Zhao Qingyun raised her eyebrows with a light chuckle and asked, "Then what? Did he refuse to explain anything? Instead just threw out infuriating nonsense?" Thinking of that made Zhao Ruoyo mad. She repeated the scolding words she had said to me. "You have no idea. He really won't stop until he drives people crazy." Then did you ask him at the beginning about the process and the truth? Zhao Ruoyo fell silent. She remembered that at first she didn't ask at all, but immediately assumed she had done something wrong. Seeing her silence, Zhao Qingyun turned her chair toward the floor-to-ceiling window, gazing out at the buildings and traffic. "Put yourself in his shoes. If it were you, and you were judged without a chance to explain, how would you feel?" Zhao Ruoyo said nothing. Zhao Qingyun said seriously, "Second brother, little brother, he might not be what he appears to be. There are many things you need to carefully judge for yourself." Zhao Ruoyo frowned at her words. She asked uncertainly, "Big sis, can you also hear Yichen's inner voice?" As soon as he said that, Zhao Qingyun fell silent for a few seconds, then asked, "You heard it too?" "Yeah, I thought it was an illusion." At this point, Zhao Ruoyo was 100% sure it wasn't a hallucination. "Since you can hear it, then you must have heard something about yourself too, right? Like what the ending is or something." But Zhao Ruoyo was puzzled too. "About me? What? I didn't hear anything. I only heard him say something like finally a normal one, and that he wanted to provoke me or something like that. Didn't hear anything else." "Then I still suggest you spend more time around little brother these days. You'll discover more interesting things." Zhao Qingyun didn't directly mention what she had heard about her future ending in her rebirth thoughts, but instead, with a hint of mischief, left it to Zhao Ruoyo to open that door herself. Filled with questions, Zhao Ruoyo hung up the phone. Meanwhile, Su Wanli's social media post, the first and only one, featured a side profile photo of a boy. Sunlight shining on his body, the vibes were maxed out, and it came with a 3-character caption, "Boyfriend." Posted personally by Su Wanli. She officially announced her relationship with Zhao Yichen. It quickly spread across the campus network. The buzz even reached those who usually ignore gossip. It even started being shared by entertainment news outlets. All because of the status of the Su and Zhao families in the capital. But the two people involved had no idea. Still leisurely enjoying their meal, Su Wanli's official announcement quickly reached Song Jingnian's ears. At first, he thought it was just a rumor, until he saw Su Wanli's social media post herself. The cup in his hand slipped and fell. It shattered on the floor, spilling water everywhere. Jingnian, what's wrong? Li Yaochuan leaned over and asked with concern. But before he could finish, he glanced at Song Jingnian's phone and immediately saw Su Wanli's post. No way. Li Yaochuan gasped softly. He leaned closer, grabbing Song Jingnian's hand to see clearly. He carefully checked it over and over again, and finally had to admit, unwillingly, that it was real. He looked at Song Jingnian worriedly, gently trying to comfort him. This must have been posted by Zhao Yichen using Su Wanli's phone. Jingnian, don't believe it. Seriously, don't. Song Jingnian gave a bitter smile. Do you really think that's possible? Su Wanli would never give her phone to him just like that. Li Yaochuan opened his mouth to speak, knowing full well it was Song Jingnian who liked Su Wanli. Yet he seemed even more anxious than the person involved. Song Jingnian already deeply resented me, but didn't dare to show it openly. He turned off his phone. Even though he knew it was impossible, he still foolishly hoped that the social media post was made secretly by me using Su Wanli's phone. Meanwhile, in the school cafeteria, I was holding Su Wanli's phone, typing away. Why did you post this photo? It's so ugly. Su Wanli sipped her water beside me, listening to my endless complaints. Her face carried a faint smile. We looked just like a loving couple. After walking me back to the dorm, Su Wanli drove home directly. In the study, the old Madame Su were reading glasses and was standing at the desk, browsing through documents. Su Wanli walked in. Old Madame Su looked up and made a gesture. Only then did she notice the phone on the desk was in an active call. A man's voice came from the other end. Madam, Regos seems to have entered the country. Can we track his exact movements? It's difficult at the moment. He's very cunning, constantly switching identities. Keep following him. Make sure to pinpoint his location. Understood. The call ended shortly after. Su Wanli stepped forward and asked, Grandma, why did you call me back? Old Madame Su took off her glasses, rubbed her brow, and sighed. Your parents messaged this morning that the organization has started moving. One of the leaders has already entered the country. Upon hearing that, Su Wanli's expression turned serious. It was just as she suspected all these years. After all, it was connected to things her parents had done. Su Wanli was silent for a few seconds, then said, I'll assign more people to stay close to him for now. Old Madame Su nodded, then added, just give the orders, you. Keep some distance from him, so Yichen doesn't misunderstand again. In the past, whenever Grandma mentioned me, Su Wanli would just brush it off, but this time, she nodded seriously and replied, okay. Before that, I'll also find a chance to explain things to him. Old Madame Su looked up in surprise, staring at her in disbelief. You're coming around. Just want to give it a try. After all, if he's someone Grandma likes so much, she must have something good about him. Old Madame Su immediately walked over with delight. She patted her excitedly. Girl, trust Grandma. I wouldn't set you up. He's a really good kid. Su Wanli had always been puzzled. Grandma had only met me a few times. So, why did she like me so much? But this question, Su Wanli didn't plan to ask directly. She wanted to slowly figure it out herself. Su Wanli chatted with old Madame Su for a while, then prepared to head back to her apartment. As soon as she stepped outside, she saw Song Jingnian getting out of a taxi. Su Wanli didn't pay attention and turned to walk away. But Song Jingnian called out, Su Wanli. Wait! Song Jingnian hurried over, reaching out to grab Su Wanli's hand. What is it? Su Wanli stopped walking and turned slightly to avoid his hand. There was no expression on her delicate face, her gaze cold as she looked at him. Song Jingnian thought he was already used to Su Wanli's icy demeanor. But thinking of what he saw earlier at the dorm, of how Su Wanli treated me, his chest throbbed with pain. He stared at Su Wanli blankly and asked with difficulty, your post, was that real? It's real, Su Wanli answered without hesitation. Why? He asked. Su Wanli raised her eyes. her gaze full of confusion. Why him? Song Jingnian pressed further. Suwanli replied impatiently. What does that have to do with you? Seeing how indifferent she was, Song Jingnian became agitated. We've known each other since we were little. I've liked you since we were kids. Suwanli, I don't believe you didn't know that. And don't forget, our parents had an agreement to